To my channel. This vlog is all about my first ever experience in an Olympic weightlifting competition that I did in December last year. When I posted about it on Facebook last year, it got a lot of interest and comments, and I just feel like I want to tell you the story. I want to tell you how it sort of all eventuated, what happened along the way, what happened on the day. Because it was such an amazing experience, and I want to share that with you just in case, you know, it's something that you're interested in, but, you know, want to know a little bit more about what happens and how you feel during the process and stuff. So this is my vlog about my first ever weightlifting competition, and I can't wait to share it with you. The whole Olympic weightlifting competitions that came about, I joined Grit Fitness and did an 8-week barbell training session with Mollie, who runs Grit Fitness, and I just fell in love with doing barbell work, and she just inquired if I was interested in doing an Olympic weightlifting competition. And I had previously seen her post videos of her competing in comps, and I was always just so inspired by watching her do that, and I thought, oh, I would love to do that, but my fear of doing that in front of other people was like, no. But how I am, I just like to say yes to these sorts of things and then just worry about everything else later. So I said yes, I was interested in competing. So January sort of rolled around, I kept training at the gym. Mollie started weightlifting classes at her gym on a Friday night, so I did those just to learn more, and plus she is there to watch you and teach you, so it's not something that you need to know straight away. She's there to teach you the basics and help you improve over time. So that takes the daunting aspect out of it, because you do get lots of training prior. So I did the weightlifting classes and still the normal strength and conditioning classes at the gym, and we're just waiting to hear when the competition dates were being released, so we could look at sort of start programming some work here. Some training sessions. So it was sort of later in the year, last year, that it was announced that there was going to be a December competition, so that was going to be my first competition. So we started training for that about 18 weeks out. I had 2 9-week training cycles. I would train just twice a week for the weightlifting sessions, and then I would do 2 normal just strength and conditioning classes at the gym, and I found that really worked well for my body, just that amount of exercise, because being a little bit older, I do need a lot more rest time in between workouts, because I do get quite sore. But the training, yeah, twice a week, 2 lots of 9 weeks leading up to the comp, and Mollie wrote out the program. I followed the program, and I just built up the weight as I felt I could do, and yeah, it was great. And I got my first ever weightlifting shoes. I got the Nike Romaleos 4. I ordered those online. I do have the Nike other Nike shoes that are flat-footed, which is quite important when using the barbell to have flat shoes, not my other shoes like Asics, which are too spongy. So I got myself some weightlifting shoes, and I found it just made doing the weightlifting techniques a lot easier. So these are my weightlifting shoes. These are the Nike Romaleo 4s. Ordered them online. They're size 9.5 US. You can see these are the elevated heels, so it makes getting into the full squat position a lot easier, because you do need to be quite mobile when doing the Olympic lifts, and getting in that full squat position with a bar over your head is quite hard, but definitely this helps the elevated heel. The first training cycle was from August to October. Mollie came up with a training program for us to train twice a week. So we did this from 24th of August until the 5th of October. So that was the first training block. To do was actually fill out the program in a book, in a logbook, and I just wrote, I'll show you, each of the workouts here, and I just wrote what weights I used. So I just warmed up with the barbell, then I went to say 20 kilos, and then I did the actual technique at 30 kilos, and I just marked off my sets there so I didn't forget. So I just did that for every session that we did. And then at the end of the 5th of October, that was our last session. The week after that, we did a 1 rep max testing. With the 1 rep max, we did this on the 9th of October. Snatch, I did 40 kilos. Clean and jerk was 50 kilos. And the back squat was 82.5 kilos. From that, Mollie would then create our second cycle of training and base all of our sets and reps and working ratio on our 1 rep max. And so after we did the 1 rep max testing, Mollie then came up with our second cycle of training. She popped down our 1 rep max for a few moves there. And that went from the 12th of October until the week of the 30th of November. Our competition date was on the 5th of December. So in the last week of training, we just did the first session on that week was comp openers. And her and her mum just watched me do a snatch. And we worked out that the comp opener for that would be 30 kilos. I was quite confident by then of doing 30 kilo snatch. Then clean and jerk, we thought 40 kilo opener would be great for the clean and jerk. And then I just did a couple of reps of the back squat, just a heavy back squat. And then the second session for that week leading up to the competition was just a couple of exercises, all really light. It's just to freshen up the body and give the body actually a little bit of a rest as well before competition. So during the 2 training cycles, I did endure a couple of injuries. One was my wrist. Got really inflamed, and then I got a bit of tendonitis in the thumb. So that was a real bummer. So I had to modify some exercises in the normal strength and conditioning classes. So I couldn't do any burpees or push-ups, anything that had my hand in sort of that position on the ground. It really hurt. And then when I was doing weightlifting moves, it hurt. So I found a video on Instagram on how to strap your wrists. So I bought some tape and started taping my wrist, and then I did buy some wristbands as well for extra support. So I did that during my training sessions, and that really seemed to help actually get through the weightlifting sessions. Also got remedial massages quite regularly, and he would work on my wrist as well. And also had a little bit of tendonitis in the elbow, still had tight quad issues, glute issues, hip flexor issues that just come with old age and training and doing different moves and all that sort of stuff. But I just managed. My main priority for doing the competition is to do the competition, but was to stay injury free, because I was working so hard in the training session that I didn't want it to all come undone by getting injured. So with the competition coming up, I needed to find something to wear. When you do Olympic weightlifting, there is a specific Olympic weightlifting suit, but I just didn't want to invest in one straight away. So I just needed to find something to wear on the competition day, and I went to Lululemon in Hobart, and I got a pair of leggings, which are these ones here. These are the tight stuff HR tight 24 inch. They're like the navy ones I've got that I absolutely love. So I got those. I did also get, I think this is either the Swiftly Tech Razorback or it's a Swiftly Breeze tank. I can't remember. So I needed something that was sort of, that might be the Razorback by the looks of it. I needed something that was a little bit fitted and that the judges could see my arms and my shoulders. So that is the tank top that I got from Lululemon. Leading up to the comp, I actually asked Molly how the room layout was going to be, because I'd been to the CrossFit gym prior, just did my first ever partner CrossFit comp in November, and the weightlifting comp was going to be in the same gym. So I just asked her the layout of the room. She just told me the platform would be in the middle of the gym, the judges would actually be in front of me, and then the spectators were going to be to the left, which was great because then the spectators weren't actually going to be right in front of me, which is what happens when you compete in Hobart. So that actually eased my mind knowing that they were off to the side. So I was actually a little bit more relaxed knowing that only the judges would be in front of me, because it's quite daunting doing something like this in front of people and you're the only one front center stage and everyone's looking at you. And that was my biggest fear. Lifting weights doesn't concern me. It was just the fact that everyone was watching me. So Andrew and the boys were going to come to the competition with me. We were going to drive up the afternoon before the competition because I needed to weigh in between 8:30 and 9:30, and the competition was in Launceston, so we're 2 hours away from Launceston. So Andrew booked our accommodation, which was great because that was just one less thing I had to think about. We drove up Friday afternoon, went out for dinner. It was really, really lovely. Walked around the city of Launceston, which was nice. Just had a really chilled out night. By that stage, I was maybe a little bit nervous, but I actually wasn't too bad. Not as bad as what I thought I would be. And I had a pretty good sleep, which was great. And then I think we got up the next morning around about 5:30, 6 o'clock, which is usual for that, for our mornings anyway. So then we decided to sort of pack up, get ready, and go and find some breakfast in Launceston. Then Andrew and the boys dropped me off at the CrossFit Levitate where the competition was being held, and Andrew was going to take the boys to Cataract Gorge and go see there, because my event wasn't until about 10:30, so it was just too long a time for Andrew and the boys to be at the competition, just to hang around and do nothing. So he went and took the boys elsewhere. I went and signed in and met up with Molly and her mum. And then I weighed in probably around about 9 o'clock, I think. I was very, very nervous, but Molly, told me what was going to happen in the room, so that sort of calmed me down a little bit. So I went into the room with another one of the female weightlifting coaches, which was good. So I just stripped down to my bra and jocks. She weighed me and I weighed in at 76.4 kilos, which was great. So I just made the cut. And then I told her what my opening weight for the snatch was, which was 30 kilos, and the opening weight for clean and jerk, which was 40 kilos, and then she recorded those. And then I ate something, and then it was time to warm up. Now this was part of weightlifting I actually did not know about. So Molly had to wait until everyone's starting weight was popped up on the board. So our group was a mixture of men and women. Obviously the women were going to lift first because we were going to lift the lightest. So Molly had to wait to see at what position I was going to lift at in terms of the girls. And it worked out that I was going to be the first lifter in my group. So, first competition, first lifter, like what else? Warming up was a little bit nerve-wracking because everyone's out the back. All the other weightlifters are warming out the back with you, but there's a set warm-up procedure which was fantastic because I actually didn't have to think about how I was going to warm up. Molly just told me what to do, when to do it, and I did not have to think whatsoever, and I was just really calm and collected, and I just wasn't as nervous as what I thought I was going to be. I knew my first weight at the snatch was 30 kilos. It was no stress because I knew I could do 30 kilos. So I wasn't stressed. I wasn't worried. I wasn't even worried about the people watching. I could see everyone there. There's probably about 20 people watching. But I just wasn't worried, and I met a couple of other girls that were lifting in the same event as me, so they were roughly about the same age. And one of the other girls that I was talking to, this was her second event, so she was nervous. So it was nice to have that sort of conversation with someone else who was new to weightlifting as well. So I was really, really surprised that I was not nervous, and I was really, really happy with that. So here are my 3 snatch lifts for you to have a look at. First one was 30 kilos, next one was 35 kilos, and the last lift was 36 kilos. Enjoy. After 3 successful snatch lifts, I was really, really happy, but really, really relieved at the same time. It was such a thrill. It was just amazing. When I went out on the platform, I just blocked out the spectators, I blocked out the judges who were sitting in front of me. I just went out and did the lifts. Such a relief. And then it was just after I did the third one, it's like, oh, it's over, you know. So then I just had to go and rest because the rest of the women had to lift, and also all the men had to do their snatch as well. So there was quite a bit of break during that time. So after the blokes had done all their snatches, it was time for me to do warm up for the clean and jerk. So that's the second lift of Olympic weightlifting, and of course I was the first lifter again. It's time for me to go onto the platform to do my clean and jerk. So here are my clean and jerk lifts. First lift is 40 kilos, second lift is 45 kilos, and the last lift is 48 kilos. So enjoy.
Come on, Shannon. again, the 46, those others above. 46.
All my lifts, 6 lifts were successful. I was so happy. When I was doing the lifts, I actually had no idea what weights Mollie had decided for me. I knew the opening weights, 30 and 40 kilos, but I couldn't hear the MC talking about, he tells some people what weights to put on the bar, and you got to change the weights over, and I couldn't hear. So I walked out on the platform for my second and third lift, and I had no idea what weights were on the bar. It wasn't until after Mollie said you did 35 kilos, 36 kilos, and so forth. I'm like, okay, whatever. And she just wanted me to have successful lifts. We were aiming for my 1 rep max, which was 40 kilos in the snatch and 50 in the clean and jerk. But when it came down to it, Mollie just wanted me to have 6 successful lifts. So it left me with confidence. Quite pleased how the whole morning went, how I felt. It was relief when it was all over, and it just seemed to be over really, really quickly. But at the end of the day, I was so happy, and it was just one thing I could just tick off my bucket list. It was just amazing. So my first ever Olympic weightlifting competition is all over. It was fantastic, great experience. I felt calm, collected. Mollie was a great coach. I absolutely loved the whole experience, and I cannot wait to do any more competitions. So after I completed my event, Mollie was competing in the next event, but I was actually the bar cleaner for her event. So I had to, I stayed around for that event, and my job was to spritz some Chuck's cloth with some sanitizer and wipe the bar in between each lifter for the next event. So that was my first experience at helping out at an Olympic weightlifting competition. They do encourage all coaches and participants to help out at the competitions to make them run, which I think is fantastic. So that was what I was doing for the next event. And I got to watch Mollie compete as well, which was amazing. So all in all, it was a wonderful day, wonderful experience, and I want to really encourage you to think about giving Olympic weightlifting a go. Mollie runs regular weightlifting classes at her gym on a Tuesday night at 5:30. All her details are in the description below, so you can contact her directly or just come along, learn all the techniques and drills, and see if you like it and see where it takes you. But it's just those one of the kind experiences that you get to do in your life, and it's just amazing. And I feel so proud of myself, and I feel proud that Finn, Cody and Andrew got to watch as well, and I hope I inspired them, being their mama bear and wife, doing something completely out of her comfort zone. So give it a go. You never know where it will take you.